Shabbat Shalom, y'all. Happy Friday. I hope you're doing well. I am. I had like a nice couple of days off in a row. I've had some nice jogs. I've had some nice walks in the park. I foraged an oyster mushroom today, so I'm going to cook that with my dinner. Let's see. I went out and went to a dive down the street. Had a great burger last night with some gals. And yeah, it's just been a good couple of days off. Jupiter has gone direct in Gemini. And so I feel like we might have a lot more of like lightening up, right? Even in the midst of, any given time and situation that we're in throughout life and throughout history, it's like we've got to keep our spirits up. We've got to keep laughing. We've got to keep having a good time. All work and no play makes everyone dull, and there's no reason to keep pushing on and nothing to live for. And so we need to be able to show up fully, even to joy and to play and to lightness. So I think that this is good. I think the energy is really shifting. I think too, the Jupiter going direct in Gemini is really touched on in this reading for our weekend reflection message. But also I think the effect that it's going to have is that people are going to start getting more organized about like their ideas for solutions to our concerns. We have so many concerns on Earth right now, whether it be environmental, financial, health, wellness, taking care of our communities. There's all kinds of issues at hand. And so I think that people have been waking up to all of it again. It's always happening in stages, and then it, gives us like this jolt, and we're processing the feelings and the stages of grief, and then we finally get this clarity where we can see productive ways to start building and creating and coming up with solutions and ways to move forward. So part of that, these ideas are more fine-tuned, and now they're able to be articulated. And so we've been talking recently about how, when we look at the issues in the world stage, it can feel so overwhelming, and we feel like, what can I do as just one person? How can I make a difference? But what happens is you can find people who are already amazing at organization, and that's what their calling is, and they already have a game plan, and they've already got the ball rolling, and you can help more by adding momentum to their well-oiled kind of like focus and method, right? So find things that you're passionate about and causes that you believe in, and you can, spread that out. Like, one of the things that I like to give my tithe to is charity water. They dig freshwater wells in third world countries. And to me, I feel like people are less likely to go down a path of darkness and destruction if they have their basic needs attended to, like food, water, shelter, education, access to healthcare, things like that. So I'm not gonna take a trip overseas and start digging wells, but I can find people who are already experts at doing that and support them. So while people are getting they're getting more focused on how to be most productive and where to hone your energy, they're getting out there and they're spreading the news, spreading the word, spreading, things and information and resources. But now, it's up to us to take it upon ourselves to start sharing those resources and passing those around so that the communication can expand. Jupiter is expansive, and it brings good fortune. And it spreads philosophy and optimism, and it talks about travel, right? So we're spreading the word and the news like far and wide in, you know, positive ways. So our first card out is Jupiter in Aries, enterprise. And so both of these energies are fire. They are enthusiastic and passionate. And so there's like this essence of really reconnecting to your deeper philosophy and why you want to create what you want to create, and then having that fiery energy, that Aries initiative to get out and do it and make it happen. We need that renewal of like fighting spirit right now to maintain focus amidst all of the distractions and like onslaught of information, just to stay on target with our former, like not our former goals, but everything that we were working on before January, right? Our dreams, our goals, our purpose. You know, I remember the messages talking at the end of the year about how we would have to be so much more disciplined this year. And I was like, I mean, we're pretty good about like being, you know, pushing ourselves, trying our hardest, trying to make things happen. Are we supposed to be like taking more onto our plate? Like how is this discipline gonna be showing up? And now I can see that it's gonna take so much more effort and like self-control to focus and get things done when there is just so much, like it's like a circus going on around us at any given time. It feels like action movies just playing out right and left. So we really have to be focused and diligent, but there is this excitement and energy and renewal of motivation and inspiration and ideas, right? To get working on your stuff and to really take productive action that's going to be fruitful rather than circling in busy work that doesn't really propel the project forward. So I love that the Page of Cups comes out with enterprise. This is about messages. This is about communication. The particular energy around Page of Cups is that they are an empathic and a sympathetic person. They're sensitive. They are a listener. They are understanding. They are gentle. They are someone who, like, see the little fishies coming to the page. It's like they're trusted, and people feel like their gentleness makes it safe for them to go be heard and seen by this Page of Cups. So I can't remember where it comes from in the Bible, but one of the things it says somewhere in the New Testament is to seek to understand more than to be understood. And when we are wanting everyone to understand us and we feel so misunderstood, then we are in an ego mindset of feeling victimized and feeling entitled and like wanting to be understood. And that's coming from a sense of lack. It's feeling alienated and put upon and nobody gets me and all this stuff. Rather than the Creator is whole, the Creator is out there to try. Is beyond being understood. The Creator wants to be understanding. The Creator wants to understand. Christ was misunderstood a lot, but he tried to understand, right? When the early missionaries went out into, the various parts of the world in the earliest days of Christianity, before it was sort of like hijacked by the Inquisition. Is that what? Yeah. The violent and the weaponized version of it. It was more about like connecting with the Celts and understanding their processes and rituals, and then showing them how this cosmic truth, this story is told through all of nature, and it's repeated everywhere, and it exists in everyone's culture when they look at things as something that can be symbolic in many layers. So it's about acceptance and integration and celebration and inclusivity more than it is about exclusivity and and appropriation. So I think that we are in an awakening where we're starting to understand that trying to get people who don't agree with you to agree with you by talking to them like in the community, like we have so much communication available to us now, and so we can exhaust so much energy and get so worked up talking to people in the comments, like trying to evangelize for our cause, trying to get people to see the light and change their mind, but that rarely happens. You know, at best, we might be able to have genuine exchanges with people over time that makes a change in their heart. But that takes real patience and long suffering and in like genuineness and devotion. So instead of getting exhausted and fighting a losing battle and alienating people further, we need to just do productive things. Getting involved in the things that we're passionate about or the causes that we believe in, trying to help others, you know, in small ways, spreading small kindness, and doing big kindness. And if you are feeling passionate about an issue, instead of talking to everybody about it that won't do anything about it, just call your congressman. And so there's this app that's going around that I saw on Chani Nicholas she's an astrologer. She's got a big Instagram account. But one of her recent carousels has some really helpful tips on how to approach calling your statesman in a productive way that's helpful and not just spewing what you dislike and you're upset, but rather being specific and giving, asking for something specific and bringing up a specific point. And so it's very helpful. And they also give a couple of different apps that you can use, but one of them is 5 calls, and it has has little stars in the thumbnail. But that app's really cool because it shows you it'll give you your congressmen and representatives numbers and how to get in touch with them really easily. But it also lets you know like the most current up-to-date issues that are coming up. And I haven't really, I used to be very political, like back in 2010 and 2012-ish. And I haven't really been since, because it nearly drove me insane. You know, it really started to get into my psyche and all of the noise and everything. It was just so toxic and vicious. But then I stepped away, but then, you know, it's giving 2012 again. Like Mayan calendar mood right now, right? So, you know, if you want to be able to feel not helpless, that's a good resource. And so the carousel that you would look for on her page is one of the most recent, and what is today? I think it was posted maybe like Thursday, so it would be like January 6th or 5th maybe. It's got a guy in the front and he's singing a song, and then it goes in further and there's more information. So that's a very helpful carousel for some resources and some tips on how to approach getting involved if you want. Okay, now, but yes, I think that the more gentle we can be with one another right now across the board, the better. The more we seek to understand rather than be understood, the better, because people are confused, they're angry, they're disoriented, they're disillusioned, and their anger has been weaponized against them, and their frustrations have been weaponized against them, and their beliefs even have been weaponized against them. So we need to be delicate with one another. I think that's the most productive and healing route forward, is to think of us all as one big family, that we all live on this planet Earth together. And so sometimes families go through ups and downs, but we're all in it together. We can't leave our family. We can't get rid of our family. Well, we are all on this this earth together for now, till people start colonizing Mars. And you know, God bless them. Go ahead, go for it. I'll stay behind and try to clean up the mess here. So, but y'all have a fun time on Mars and let me know how it goes. So let's see. Now we've got organization. We have Mercury in Capricorn. I think the other night I had mentioned that Venus was moving into Aries, and I thought that Venus was going direct from being retrograde, but I had it reversed. It is that we are in the pre-shadow of Venus going retrograde, which is such a disappointment because I just thought like I'd gotten over an awkward phase of like looks. I was just like looking really shitty there for most of January. I was like, oh, Venus must be going direct. I feel like I'm looking better, and it's just about to go reverse. So if you need to trim your bangs, do it now. Do not cut your hair when Venus is in retrograde. This is like more like you're like the Venus is like a giver of beauty and luminousness and radiance, right? And so it, you know, sometimes I can feel a little bit awkward and like not good looking in a Venus retrograde. You might feel, you know, right now it's like the Venus being in Aries is like all my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard energy, but Venus will be going retrograde soon. So, but it will have us revisiting, you know, our thoughts on what fills our life with beauty and what gives us security, what we build our security with. Now, Mercury is also in its pre-shadow stage, and I felt so good because I thought about it and I backed up my hard drive and my computer today, so that was great. But getting organized. So Mercury in Capricorn, this is about like now, like not only getting organized, but being meticulous and methodical and persevering and persistent about showing up in our routines every day and taking action, right? You know, like there might be things that we add to our weekly routine, you know, that have to do with work that we devote ourselves to for the behalf of the greater good, right? The moon's nodes are shifting from Aries and Libra into Pisces and Virgo. And so we are applying our spiritual growth and all of this, you know, we've had this metamorphosis of self and how we relate to others. Well, now we're evolving that into, okay, now how can I be a better steward and a better citizen and show up and give more to others? How can I be give myself in service to not just my own means, but to the means of the greater good and the means of humankind? So, you know, one thing that might bring us a sense of like fulfillment and inner peace might be to devote the self on a weekly basis to taking action that helps the greater good and helps others and not just the self alone. In addition to being really strict with your own dreams, your own healthy routines, you know, of the amount of information we're taking in and giving ourselves quiet time to decompress, our routines that help us keep our nervous system regulated, all of it is going to take a lot of effort and focus and perseverance and discipline and self-control and making those good decisions for ourselves. It's going to require consistency, right? So we've got to keep our energy levels up and we've got to do things sustainably. I don't want to beat myself up, but I do. But I have like this project that I'm working on, trying to get all of my straightforward oracle cards typed in to Word so that I can then take the next step towards self-publishing them. And I get so much more accomplished when I just make myself do one card every day, you know, and it doesn't take that long. And sometimes I have the motivation to do more than one. But then I'll fall off for a few days and I'm like, okay, well, maybe if I can catch up and do like 5 or like 6 or whatever. And, you know, it just gets like out of control. And what ends up happening is that when I can just do one card every day, I get more done than when I try really hard, fall off the wagon, don't get back on, then try to like do a bunch at once. Like it's so little consistent, doable, maintainable things. But consistency is key. It really does add up over the long term. So we have Emperor here. So this is going to be the way that we get control over our affairs, over all the kingdoms of our life, right? Our spirituality, our mental landscape and our thoughts, our feelings and our emotions and our heart, our physical world, our health and our wellness and our finances, but also too, just having the sovereignty over self and sovereignty over our own consciousness. Whilst at the same time, on a political level, on a global level, I mean, even the United Nations is like concerned with like the state of affairs right now and what we're going to do about this Emperor card we have here sitting in this situation, right? It's like, you know, things are getting pretty tense. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like it might be something, it's not a one and done. This is something that is going to need sustained effort. So it might be a daily effort, it might be a weekly effort, but to combat the effects that the current zeitgeist is taking in the moment. We have publicity and the Chariot. So publicity and the Chariot are practically, it's like they have a lot of the same vibration. The Chariot card talks about with a continued disciplined effort and maintaining balance and self-discipline and temperance, we get forward momentum in our goals and in our dreams, and then we start getting a bit of recognition and public acclaim, or we're seen as victorious, or we might get a little bit of fame about something or a reward. We might start making a little bit of money, but it's starting to gain success in an area. And publicity here, we've got Jupiter in Leo. So this is in, you know, this character, this personality likes to be out there and be showy and be theatrical and dramatic. And so being compelling right now in your field may be what's called for to get your dreams out there. Maybe you're kind of a shrinking violet, and one of the things that you need to do is just sort of like be okay with like having a little bit of like flash and pizzazz and theatrics to get your message out there, right? Even like my video thumbnails, I never really make them very clickbaity, even though those videos get a lot of clicks and a lot of views. And so I've struggled with that as well. It's like, do I just do the clickbaity thing to attract more traffic, or how do you handle that, right? So being able to really put yourself out there for your particular creative venture and things, and whatever you're making, whatever you're sharing with the world, whatever that gift is, like it's, you know, now we're on, like we have a world stage, we have a world audience. So there's no telling to like where our reaches can touch in the different corners of the world. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there. All right, you guys, that is all for tonight. I hope you have a lovely rest of your evening or a nice Saturday or weekend or whenever you're watching this. And our next video, we will be back for our Secret Teachings of Jesus, where we will be reading the Gnostic Gospels. All right, well, until then, I ordered a Hebrew Bible today. I'm pretty excited. There's like 2 versions that I ordered. So one's like a big extensive one with all kinds of study notes, and one of them is like the classic, like leather bound, you know, kind of number. But excited to get that. I'm always a nerd for my holy scriptures and texts. Love that kind of thing. All right, y'all, talk to you later. Ciao.